Okay, so today we're just going to talk about just stuff in general, maybe like Hank's depression, things like that. Just in general, what maybe he's feeling on a day to day basis. My name is Madonna Brown. This is Hank Brown, and we both are licensed clinical mental health counselors. And when Hank was 46 years old, he started having symptoms of Lewy body dementia, and Hank is now 56 years old. And this disease is progressing slowly. It's not fast. It is for people when they get older. It can go a lot faster. Hank's neurologist said that the reason it's going slow is because he got it at an earlier age. And it's funny when we go to the neurologist, I guess, is in his 70s, and he'll say, "You guys are just teenagers, and there's no reason for this to be happening." But it is, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do about it. And right now, Hank wears a patch every day, and that's how he gets his medicine. Because his medicine is called, I think it's Exelon, and the patch keeps him from being sick at his stomach. They said many people that take the pill will get really nauseated. So this patch goes on his upper back, and the doctor said just make sure you don't get it near his abdomen anywhere so it doesn't go into his stomach like that. So it absorbs into his skin, and he takes it every day. Do you remember what it was like when you first started getting the patch?
What do you mean?
When you
feeling?
Yeah, how
the
you
patch?
felt. Like, do you remember before the patch and after the patch?
Well, I had hope that something great would come from it, but
Right.
and it did for a while, and still working. I mean, I'd be a lot more. What's the word?
I don't know. I'm wondering what you're thinking of.
I can't think of it.
Okay.
But, I don't know.
Well, I know it seems like that you were just not alert, not awake. You couldn't carry on a conversation, things like that. And just as soon as you got on the first patch at the lowest dose, then it's like you just opened back up. It's like your brain opened up, but the fog was lifted, and you could start just talking and sharing and having ideas.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was at your mom's house that time I woke up and I just wanted to talk and talk and talk.
Yep.
And that's not me.
You know,
talk,
and
talk,
and that's a
talk.
really good story to tell. One night, we still lived in North Carolina, and we would come home to my mom's every year for Christmas. And this year for Christmas, we was at home at my mom's, and we were sleeping in her basement like we always did. And I remember in the middle of the night, you woke up and you said that water was running down the steps from upstairs.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there was like an air purifier at the top of her steps. And you kept on saying water's running. And I said, well, there's not any water. And you said, well, I can hear it. And I said, well, if there's any water running, it will run out. They have a drain in the basement. And I tried to just logically tell him what would happen if water's running down the steps, that it wouldn't flood the basement. And we began to carry on a lengthy conversation. And it went really well. Now, this was before his patch, but it went great. And we talked for about 45 minutes, and I thought, this is one of the best conversations we had had since you got sick. And it was in the middle of the night. And I was all excited. And we got up the next morning, and I said something to you about it, and he says, what conversation? He didn't remember any of it. And I was all excited because it went so well, and we were like connecting and conversating, and you didn't remember any of it. I mean, you remember talking about the water, you said, but you didn't remember the rest of the conversation.
No, I just little shags here and there.
Yeah.
I think.
But that's not something you have now, is it? Any kind of things like that?
No, they
Okay.
don't. Every now and then, you have a little. I call it a spell,
Okay.
where need a little help or something. But
Do you remember at our other house 2 years ago, being at the other house, and you said you saw something?
that was
Upstairs.
people walking up the stairs, and it we had a bathroom in there, and these people, I can't remember, they didn't look at me or nothing, I don't think, but most of them was like dirty and stuff, but they would come through the bedroom and go into the bathroom. They never come back, but I don't know where they went, but you know.
And how often did that happen at the other house? Do you remember?
Oh, no, not really.
Okay.
Did you?
No, I know in the beginning when you got sick, when you were 46, every night you were having things like that. Every night you were seeing something that wasn't there. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that he would get up and walk around of the night because it was hard for me to rest because he was up walking around. He was just wandering through the house. And I was always afraid he would go outside, but I didn't know at that time what was going on. And then you were seeing that black sheet, you called it.
That was what started all, the black sheet.
Okay.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I was in our office, wasn't I? Or
Mm-hmm. Yes.
yeah, and I was just standing in the hallway, and I seen this little black sheet. You know, it'd be about,
It's a sheet. SHEET. Sheet.
yeah, and it would go up in the corners sometimes, and you know, but it wasn't scary. I mean, I could see it, and then another time here at the house, I was mowing and I'd see Jed Clampett, a dirty,
Yep.
old looking guy, you know, and he'd be like almost walking right beside me. I could sense him, I couldn't see him.
Okay.
And I don't, since the medicine, I'm not seeing that stuff now. I mean, I might see something every now and then.
Right. He started taking Namenda,
Yeah, and that was great for.
and that stopped him. Now, he did take Aricept, but nightmares and dreams and being able to have these things were happening all the time. And Aricept made it worse. But Namenda stopped those, the majority of those. And I don't know, we were living in this house, he was mowing the grass, and I remember that was happening. Because usually stress would bring it on, I thought, but there's really, I cannot see with Hank that anything necessarily brings those on, as we would say. I do think stress did it some, because he has one client he would see sometimes, and I remember one day, right before he was going to have a session, he had worried and stressed about it, and I walked into the living room. Remember, you were on the couch laying down?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, are you going to be able to see your client?
I said no at first.
Right. He
I
said,
said, there's no way I can do it or something.
and you said, watch out, because there is Jed Clampett. And I just walked like through Jed Clampett up to the couch. And after that happened, and it just seemed like, I said, you know, everything's okay. And after that, he got up off the couch, and then it was like something clicked, and he just went into therapy mode, went to session, everything was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I did is now, if he has a client, now if he's got to do something that's stressful, I don't tell him. I wait till 10 minutes before time. I make sure he's had a shower and everything's good to go, and I don't tell you, do I?
But I know you do it.
Right. But he can't keep up with her appointments. I keep up with them.
Yeah.
And if she reschedules, she contacts me. So, but I've noticed when you come in this office and get in that therapy mode, I will stand outside the door.
It comes back to me.
It does. It does. Because when I click for him to go in, because he can't even click the start button to go into session for a telesession. But as soon as that person gets into session and begins to talk, I walk out and I can hear him and that person just having a big conversation already. I shut the door and then I walk off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's just seems like it's out of ordinary things that
Yeah.
you know what's happened.
Right. And in the beginning, before you started Namenda, he woke up in the night, and I remember that he was talking about that there was water coming down from the light in the ceiling.
I remember that.
And he said it's going to flood the room. and then he said, the floor's wet. And I said, well, and the night before we had shampooed the carpet. And I said, well, maybe they're still wet because the carpet's been shampooed and the fan's blowing. And then a couple of nights later he woke up and he said, I've got to go to South Carolina to take.
Whitney,
Yeah.
can I say
Yeah.
her name? Whitney, my stepdaughter, because I was worried she wasn't getting lunch.
Yeah.
And stuff. And but Donna eventually you called her, didn't you?
I did.
To make me calm down, so I know that she had lunch.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. You just never know from one day to the next. I might be wanting to drive an 18-wheeler or something. It's just you just don't know.
Well, and the scary thing is, he got up, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. He's still got his underwear on. He has no clothes on, and he's fixing to leave our bedroom and go to the garage, get in the car to drive 4 hours to South Carolina. We were in North Carolina then. And he's taking her lunch, and I said, she has lunch, but she had her stepdaughters with her, and he said, but they won't have lunch, and I've got to take them all lunch. Very persistent. Now, I can't tell you as a caregiver what to do, but I can tell you what I got to doing and seemed to work. I would always say, okay, it's still dark outside. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It's still dark outside, and until it gets daylight, we don't do anything.
Yeah, and it seemed to work.
And then I said, I will contact Whitney, and I called her and she didn't answer. But I said, I will contact her and see if she needs lunch. And I thought that would really help. And I told him, remember I laid the phone on my chest. And I said, it's laying here. Let's go back to sleep and we'll wait for her to call us. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. And then he woke up another morning and said, we're still in North Carolina. We were 12 hours away from Kentucky. And he would say, oh, I got to go to Kentucky. I've got to babysit the grandkids that lived in Kentucky. They called and I've got to get up there. And I'd say, okay, it's still dark outside. And we never went on a vacation before daylight. That's just who we are. So he knew, didn't you just wait? Go back to bed. We're going to wait till daylight. And if I could get him to go back to sleep when he woke up the next time, he usually would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I never said, no, you're not seeing that. No, the water's not running from the ceiling. I mean, I might say, well, it's not. But if he was going with that, I went with it. If it is flowing from the ceiling, do we need to go to another room? Do I need to get something out, a dehumidifier? What do I need to do? Because I wanted to comfort him. And I remember what you told me one time.
What?
You said that they're not scary, and you're so glad that you went and got your degree in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Because he said he knew what hallucinations were. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
So he said that's why he wasn't scared of them, because he had studied about those in college.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what your loved one may be doing or might be saying. But I personally do not think it's good to say, oh, nope, nobody's there. I never said nobody was there when those people went to the bathroom. I never said no Jed Clampett was there. I just walked through Jed Clampett. Sorry.
Oh, and there'd be some people, if I said, oh, that thing's moving, they'd want to go and try to slap it. Like they're going to stop it, and stuff, and that didn't work.
Right.
But that just shows they was trying to help me, and
True.
stuff, but...
I agree. And I remember another night he woke up and he wanted me to see the black sheet so bad. And we were laying in the bed. He said, do you see it? And I said, what? He said, the black sheet. Oh, I wanted to see it so bad because we shared in everything for 20-some years at that point. And we're laying in the bed and I'm trying to see that black sheet. And I cannot see that black sheet, even though I'm trying to. And about that time, he says, it's right over the top of us. I mean, it's like, oh, he could just grab it almost, and I wanted to see it so bad.
Yeah, because sometimes it would have those little, tassels that would be down and be,
I always think about a magic carpet flying, the tassels hanging on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, yeah.
But you said it was over, and I said, what's it doing? And what did you say it was doing? It was hovering over us. Was it to protect us?
I don't remember. I just remember it was hovering over us. I don't remember what I said.
But he also said that sometimes he would see it in the corner up by the bedroom door. And I said, what's it doing? He says, it's watching me. I said, does it have eyes? And he said, no. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And was it real to you?
What I was seeing was real.
Right. So
but,
it's,
I know it's not real.
But it's real to your loved one. Whatever they're seeing is real to them. Even though you're not seeing it, it is real to them. And it is a really, really big deal to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage you to always just try to have as much kindness and compassion as you can, and not be forceful and just say, oh, that's not true. Because many times people just need to talk about the things that, that they're feeling, that they just need to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not telling you that I always do it, because I don't.
Yeah, because it's hard.
It is hard. It's hard. And I don't always just, oh, I'm just so nice and sweet and always a good therapist with Hank. I most certainly am not. I am a good caregiver some days, and other days I am not a good caregiver. But that's called life, and I do the best I can, and I try to learn from the mistakes I make. And you hadn't kicked me out so far. I'm still your caregiver.
Yeah, I know. Gotta have you along with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I also, this is just a pet peeve of mine, I don't like it when people say I'm his caretaker, because I don't like that.
Caretaker, yeah.
I'm your caregiver.
Yeah, caregiver.
So if you will, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, but most of all, leave a comment, a question. We're getting more of those, and we really enjoy it, because we have learned so much from other people, and we really, really appreciate the knowledge that you're sharing with us. We want our knowledge to be shared. What was you going to say?
I was going to say something now.
I'm sorry.
It was, if you're out there and you're like me, let's just say, I like hearing your story. If you got a story you want to tell me, you could, get on there and hear. I'd like to hear your story.
Well, just like the woman that commented that said she took care of her husband for 10 years, and she said it was an honor. And I use that all the time now, for it to be my honor. And that's hard. We're going on a trip. We're just going down to my son's house with the grandkids, and they can't wait. And, it's my honor to pack his bag. It's my honor to do all that. I have to tell myself those things. He would do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's go with it, you do it for me.
Yeah.
All right, so if you can, leave questions and comments, and we appreciate you listening to us and sharing your stuff with us. So we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.